Yes, we're going.
Cool.
And I do have to preface that we had some really good stuff. We've been down here talking for over an hour.
Might be a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor, as they say, as the kids say. So, all right, well, let's strap in. Strap in.
I'll do anything for love.
Oh, no, we're doing that again. Well, hey, welcome to TheAscertainers. This is, well, what is the anniversary? Like a Diamond anniversary is 50, I think.
Oh, I have no idea.
Actually, I think Diamond is 75. We'll look it up, but this is the 40th episode. It's probably the corduroy or the burlap anniversary. That's what you get your lava for their 40th anniversary. And that's my 40th anniversary is coming up. I just banged on the table. We have made some improvements to the Ascertainers setup. By the way, this is the Ascertainers podcast that you've stumbled into. We apologize. You're not lost, but you should keep the exits in mind because you might want to get off this thing quick. But the Ascertainers are a couple of fellows from Minnesota. We're not old. We're just old. I'm Jim. I'm the sidekick to Mark.
Hello, everyone. How are you? He keeps shaking his head at me, and I don't know what else to say.
I interrupted him at his first syllable. Not even though he wasn't even the whole word. So, yeah, we have been doing this for a little bit, and we just had a nice little dinner with the wives at a little restaurant. Not sure if you heard of it. It's called Newt's in Apple Valley. We'll get to them in a sec, but I have to go to Roch tomorrow, my hometown of Rochester, with my oldest brother, who's not yet been on the podcast, Steve. Shout out, Steve. But I have to be functional in the morning, so we're not doing 2 episodes tonight. We're doing just 1. But we've kind of drank enough to... I don't think that it's going to be a net positive for my functionality tomorrow. But
so the listeners are going, thank you for not doing 2?
Yeah. You're welcome. That's what we're looking for. But anyway, yeah, we've been cracking each other up left and right, and it's like, oh, why don't we start to record since we've suddenly become amusing. The aiming fluid is kicked in.
So it's just going to be flat now.
Yeah, it's going to be more or less like a PBS broadcast or Minnesota Public Radio or something like that. But 2 guys that do nothing more on Friday night than go to Newt's and then come to my basement and just talk smack to each other.
That could have gone sideways there.
We have to. Let's kind of set the table here. I think the last episode that went out, I haven't heard from Pat yet, but Pat gave us some feedback at a pajama party, as I like to get all of my feedback from some dude at a pajama party. But we kind of hazed him pretty good on this episode that comes out today. We record one Friday, and it usually comes out the following Friday. And sometimes we do 2 episodes, and we don't know what the hell's going to happen on the second one. But this is a 1 of 1 night tonight, so we have 0 room for error there, Mark.
Wow.
Yeah, so don't fuck it up.
Well, we never do.
Okay. And then also, by now, you probably, if you've stumbled across us on Spotify or iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts, if you see the list of episodes, there was a special episode with my mom on it. And I'm really glad we did it, and I liked how it turned out. And I'm curious if we either gained listeners or lost everybody, but I don't care because I think it was worthy. And I thought Mark was very nice to my mom. And I thought my mom came off very, very well, despite not being able to hear anything.
Yes. Him saying I was nice to his mother, but at the end of the podcast, as she was saying the whole time she could not hear through the headphones, I looked down at my foot, and her connector was laying on my foot. Her headphones were never connected to the whole episode. I feel so bad about that.
So when she
I
said,
really
"I can't," good thing she just said, "I can't breathe." You know.
And
So next time, when she says, "I can't hear," we should believe her and look into that.
Right. If she says I can't breathe, I'm probably standing on her oxygen hose. So,
Classic Mark. Mark, they don't call him the finisher for nothing, there, kids. So, all right, I have a. Oh, by the way, you got radio bands or no?
I do.
Let's jump into a quick radio game, and then we'll do some errors and omissions. And because this is a music podcast, but I don't think we're going to hit a lot of music tonight.
Okay, Pat.
Although
this is for you.
some of my stuff is music related. My arrows and omissions.
Okay, radio game. As if you first hearing this podcast, we pick 4 bands, 2 of them mainstream, 2 of them not so mainstream, and then Jim will listen to KQRS on his digital radio because we're so fancy.
Digital.
And then we'll find out if we matched who was playing to who we picked.
That's good. That's probably the best description I've ever heard, the most succinct. But I will say, when you say mainstream for like classic rock.
For KQRS,
so,
I should
not
say.
like mainstream like Beyonce or anything like that. We're
Correct.
talking like, I call them legacy bands, meaning they're like staples in the music industry.
That is a better description.
Versus some kind of more of a 1 or 2 hit wonder kind of thing. So let's let you go first there. Give me your 2 legacy picks.
Chicago.
Nice. I haven't heard them in a while.
Beginnings. There's a great bass line in the middle of that song.
Only the beginning?
I thought the name of the song is Beginnings.
But is that part of the chorus, though, where it goes, only the beginning? Is that...
Yes.
Okay, sorry for singing. I don't sing so good.
It was very nice.
My singing's worse than my grammar.
And Elton John is my other legacy.
Elton John. I thought Beginnings was your second band. Got to go with your first answer on that one, Cal. I went with, and I feel strongly, I feel like I channeled this. Styx and George Thorogood are my mainstays.
Very nice.
My legacies. Do you want, go with your flyers or your...
Cocaine Blues with, I always thought that was a kind of a fun
Hold
song.
on. Is that Pat Travers?
No, that was George Thorogood. He did a remake of Cocaine Blues.
Okay. I knew it was familiar. I remember.
I'm doing this for Pat to talk about the bands.
Yeah. Pat, are you happy? Pat, you still listen to us after the last episode? Because we were not real, we did not handle you with kid gloves. We kind of gave you what you were looking for, I think. And
so we're always asking people to write in.
we want to discourage anyone from really telling us what they feel.
Send us an email and then we'll just destroy you.
I like how we actually, that was my favorite part about the dismantling of Pat, was who we love, by the way, was you recommended he sent an email and I'm like, I don't think he knows what email is. I don't think he knows what a stamp costs either, so I think he'll have like a bunch of one-centers that would like cover up the whole part of the envelope. It'll look like a fucking plane from World War II with all the on the side. Anyway.
Okay, in honor of Pat, I'm going to go with the Dwight Twilley Band. And do you know the song?
I do. It's a person's name.
No, Bruce Springsteen did a different version, but the same words.
Say it.
I'm on fire.
Yes. Dwight Twilley. That's a total KQ. That's up there with like the Del Fuegos. And do you have another one, or you want to hear mine?
Rossington Collins Band.
Woo.
Which I get.
Which is a
Skinner.
You get all of Skinner to boot?
What? Don't you? Because it's.
Yeah. Well, so basically, you should have just said Skinner, and you get Rossington Collins. All right. But no, if you said Skinner, then you would also get like 38 Special. Because wasn't there a member, or was that just his brother?
That was his brother, but
who is now the singer.
He came back to.
Oh, and I figured it out. There's like big bands coming through the cities this summer, but in January, I think it's Journey and Asia are coming to Treasure Island.
Wow.
I think it's the weekend after the Fiji show.
So Journey's coming twice.
Everybody go to Fiji. This will come out in time for you to go to Fiji at some little bar in St. Paul. Meet us there. We'll buy you a beer. But what now?
So Journey's coming twice.
It's true. I gotta research it. Maybe if I get a break in the show. I've seen ads for it, and also ZZ Top is coming with somebody to Treasure Island as well. Treasure Island is like a casino about an hour south of here, of the Twin Cities, and they brought in like some bigger name bands that are on their way down typically. But anyway, here's my other. I'm going with Badfinger.
I like it.
And Asia, because Asia is one of those bands coming to town. So
it's funny that Badfinger, most people thought a lot of that was the Beatles.
I know.
Well, the Beatles produced it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were on Apple Records.
Look at this. You're getting your money's worth tonight, kids. So this is the part of the radio game that most people didn't like, and I think why we then would freak out and just talk over it. But
is it a song? He's listening.
Yeah, it is. Quick recap of what were your bands?
I had Chicago, Elton John, Dwight Twilley Band, and Rossington Collins.
I had Styx, Thorogood, Badfinger, and Asia. And the winner is a band that everybody knows. On the legacy side, it's a color and a guy.
Pink Floyd.
It is Pink Floyd, and it's like from the Mission Bell, or I think it's Learning to Fly or something.
Oh, so it's after...
So it's not even good Pink Floyd.
Oh, come on.
Listen to the song. What song is this? It's here. I'll even give you the other ear.
I love Pink Floyd, so you know what happened is he threw the headphones.
Mark bought this cool little transistor, modern looking transistor radio, and it's got earbuds. And I hated the Pink Floyd song so much. I said, "You tell me what it is." And apparently, I have like ninja like earbud throwing capabilities. I stopped the recording with the earbud.
You know, we have all this.
That's how bad I
multi-million-dollar
fucking bad I hate Pink Floyd.
equipment.
I can make it stop almost with my mind.
And so you missed our whole thing about how much I love Pink Floyd and how much he hated Pink Floyd.
I think, you know what? I think that the universe didn't want... I think I made a pretty good... what do you call that? Revelation that rarely do you find someone who likes Pink Floyd that also likes Rush. They're polar in that way. You're either you can like Rush and like Pink Floyd, but you either usually love one and tolerate the other. Oh, here you go.
Yes, that is, in my case, that is
or
definitely...
appreciate the other, but not so much that you'll put their bumper sticker on your school folder
or forehead.
Or forehead.
So,
all right. So, Pat, I hope you're happy. We talked about the winner of the radio game, Pat, and as a result, we just had to spend about a half hour trying to debug what the hell I did with the thing. So it's a good edit. Anyway, hey, Pink Floyd, way to go! You won. Also, Mark, you lost. Jim, you lost. So let's get right into errors and omissions, or do you want to talk about the radio game more?
No. let's go.
You know that Nikolai Tesla had something to do with the radio waves, and Tesla, not a bad band. So, wonder if they knew each other. I'm doing David Letterman. Got my little piece of paper here. I want to let you all know from the last numbered episode. So we're not counting. We're not going to refer back to my mom's episode, other than how nice Mark was to my mom and how Mark forgot to plug her in. So apparently he hates her, but he's nice to her.
But use the titles of the episode. Maybe
well, that was just the special edition.
No, but if you're going to reference an older episode,
well, that's what I was getting at. Was that when I said the last episode? Really, it is episode 38. When Pat Benatar, can you believe that we didn't, as we were hazing Pat, Audie Pat, the listener, when Pat Benatar came up, we didn't go, oh, of course it's Pat Benatar. It was going to be Pat Travers, Pat Metheny, or Pat Benatar. Any more Pats, you know?
I don't.
How about Pat
From Saturday Night Live.
No, oh God, there's a great what do they call Arnold from Happy Days? He had a nickname. It was Pat something Noriega.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, come on. It was like an American name. Pat
Smith.
Look it up. There's a
Jones.
Okay, here I've been about ready to do it again. I'm gonna save myself. Joe Superior. I think it was Phil Huron. But anyway.
Wasn't it his real name, Pat Moriarty or something?
Look up Gary Gulman, comedian. This is a message to people listening. Go to the after. I think by now it probably counts as a listen, so fuck it. Go listen to it now if you want. Anyway, Gary Gulman, Gulman, is a stand-up comedian from the northeast part of the country, and he does a thing on the Karate Kid, and I think it's a 2-part like stand-up thing. It's Pat. Oh no, his name is like Pat is the American name. It's like Norito Pat Noriega or something like that. Anyway, I don't know where the fuck I was going with this the whole time. Either. But I will say this. You'll do yourself a favor if you go to Gary Gulman, and there are 2 comedy bits you want to look up. One is the Karate Kid, and the other is the Wizard of Oz. Thank you. I mean, you're welcome. That's all I had to say about that. So,
was there errors or omissions somewhere?
I was getting there. We were talking about Pat Benatar. The song that I referenced, the Pat Benatar song that I referenced after Pat Benatar won, and I'm trying to convince you that there's a song where she was like a person who was a victim of domestic abuse.
Correct.
It was Love is a Battlefield.
Okay, yeah.
Love is a Battlefield. And I was confusing it with one of her other big street dance songs. But yeah, Pat Benatar, American icon, I dare say. What do you got there? Pat Morita. Yeah, so it's like Noriega, Pat Morita. So the Pat part is what is funny. Okay, so another was that I accidentally played John Lennon.
No, actually, it was me who...
Was it you that did?
My phone went off, yeah.
Because I think we were looking up where he got shot, and then all of a sudden
I was doing Christmas music, and that was next in line on my...
Is that what it was? Okay, so if the Lennon
Spotify
estate wants to sue us, we will settle out of court for a 2-4 of Coors Light 16 ounces.
But it did confuse us quite a bit on how we got to there. So,
and the other thing, the last thing I had was the No Anchovies, Please, which I just listened to. So, No Anchovies, Please by the Jay Giles Band. I remember hearing the No Anchovies, Please, but I forgot. It's like a 3-minute long track on the album Love Stinks, and it's good. I think it concludes side 1.
Yeah, I always thought it ended the album.
That was The Walls Come Tumbling Down. Till the Walls Come Tumbling is the last song on that record.
Well, that's neither here or there.
Hey, Mark, I thought we were going to correct me.
This was your errors and omissions, so I should let you go.
Maybe you could do errors and omissions of yours and mine. But that's all I had on that. I think, then we got some other topics and shit to go through. But how about your Festivus quality?
I was going on and on about Eric Lake.
Yeah. But who the fuck is Eric Lake?
Which came up with Joe Superior. But
I did.
After all that, it was really Greg Lake.
Yeah.
Of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Was he not in Asia as well?
I
thought one of those guys was in the band Asia.
No, I think he's from Asia. But
no. He likes lo mein. I think that's where it stops.
And Emerson is from Australia.
Emerson.
Hinckley shot Reagan, not Ford. Squiggy shot Ford. Or attempted to shoot
Ford.
Who
shot Lennon?
That was...
Chapman?
Chapman.
Okay. So we got that right.
We did. But I screwed up the other thing. And when we were talking about John Lennon, we went into that. It was the band their Christmas song that I wanted to cover, but we
Okay.
went on to other things. That was all I had.
Well, you better start talking about something else because I'm looking up Asia right now. It's like a country with a few billion people. Wow.
So in the
It's
future,
going to take me all day to figure out which ones are in the band.
I'm going to put the onus on our listeners to start emailing us. We're going to come up with a topic, and we're going to have you, the listeners, email us or send it through Facebook, Instagram, any way you want to. Your whatever it is, if it's like a favorite toy growing up, favorite.
I don't think I would do that. Don't offer up a favorite toy growing up.
Well, keep it.
Like it'll be 50%. It'll be vacuum cleaner, and the other 50% will be gym sock. Okay, GYM in this case. But yeah, you go do you, man.
And that was just an example. We're not going to use it. Don't worry. Our favorite TV show or favorite band, anything. We'll come up with the topic. And then you guys email us in or get a hold of us any way you can. Pat, if you want to mail.
Please email. Don't come over or nothing like that. Pat can tie it to a rock and throw it through my front window. That's what I figure he'll do.
We're going to work on that, and hopefully we can get some. And then we'll read everything that you guys send us on the podcast.
I think what Mark is trying to indicate is that by the way, we now have more Facebook followers. We like doubled our Facebook followers to like 30, 34. We had 13 before. Can't figure it out. We're at like 1,330 downloads. So that means like individual listens, not listeners, but it's about like 30 something or 36 per episode or whatever. But we have like 36, or I think we have 34 Facebook followers now. So we need to work on bumping that up. But what we really want is just to hear feedback. We want to hear like, we'll talk about whatever. Gotta be honest, we're getting tired of talking about shit we like to talk about. So give us something to talk about. And or if you'd like to be on the Ascertainers in your local to Minneapolis, our travel budget's a little thin. So it would be helpful if you live in the Twin Cities and you're not psychotic. And if you are those two things, let us know. And if you are, we'll have to come up with something clever to say, well, we're busy that night.
But personally,
I think you want to edit that part out. I don't think that's a good look for us.
Nothing's a good look for us, actually.
But
anyways, we don't need to increase our followers, which would be nice, but the ones that are consistent listeners, we would love to hear from you and have your ideas and your thoughts on the podcast. And so I'd like to make one podcast just of what you guys are thinking. You hear
choice.
They hear us all the time. They don't need to hear us again.
I'm tired of us.
Exactly.
I
So
think it's time to put this fucker to bed.
okay.
I mean,
You mean the
episode,
podcast?
Everything here.
Thank you. It's been a good run. Goodbye.
No. Yeah, I would rather I'll tell you this. I would rather have a small engaged audience that would be like, I don't know, it'd be fun, like interactive with people that listen, or we talk about crap that they want to listen to or hear about or get our opinions on, than to be like a million listener and we are lighting our cigars with $50 bills and just whipping them on the ground. I'd way rather have just a few listeners that are engaged than a life of excess.
Wow. And good. He's starting to laugh there.
What? No, I was starting to laugh like this, like a maniacal, kind of like that Austin Powers, where that just builds. So anyway,
It was a nice try.
You know, I can tell you this right now. I'm starting to feel it. We came into this episode without a topic, And I'm starting to get a little the Rodney Dangerfield clutching the collar, like, uh-oh. But we do have a couple things that we could talk about. And
we wrote down a post-episode talk, and you wrote down like 7 or 8 topics.
I wrote down 4 things.
You were writing for like 20 minutes.
Well, that's because I don't write good. Oh, the timer just did my old house address. Jim is distracted easily.
We are down on topics.
Yeah, well, anyway, hey, we gave you 2 last week, so this may be a mail it in. No, what we talked about that I thought was interesting is we talked about Christmas cards, and we are very thankful for the people that send Christmas cards to my household. I assume Mark is the same. I have been guilty of not sending Christmas cards for the longest time because it's a combination of laziness and I don't want to brag. I don't want people to feel bad for how great my family's doing. I'm kidding. I do have a friend that, and he kind of listens too. Audie Scott. You know who you are. His Christmas cards were like, oh my God, my family sucks, is all I felt after reading his Christmas cards, because he had a very high achieving, Audie Scott.
Right,
so,
but yeah.
No, that's his real name. He knows who he is. But no, it's not bad. I mean, it's like, I applaud all that, but I just feel like, oh, I can't compete with that. I got nothing. My kids are, not in the fucking judicial system or anything like that. That's about as far as I go with it, but...
I was a big Christmas card. I'd be filling them out forever, sending them to everyone. Even the old neighborhood here, after I moved, I went through and put them in everybody's mailbox. But nobody was sending them back. So I thought...
Did you put your new address on them and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I really didn't move that far.
Well, that's not how it works. It's not like... You think they're going to drive it over? I mean, they got to know where to send it.
But then after, doing that for 5 to 7 years, I thought, you know what? With new technology, like we're going to cover, it's something that's going by the wayside.
I tend to agree.
So I didn't do it this year. And everybody that I sent cards to that never sent cards to me before are sending them to me today.
Well, what should we just tell those people to F off right now?
No, it's very nice.
I do the list,
but it makes me feel bad.
Next episode, bring those cards in, and we'll say, hey, the Doe family, no.
It's not bad on them. It's bad on me for giving up on it. I should say.
All I can tell you is I'm consistent. We haven't done shit for Christmas cards in, I'm going to say 20 years.
No, and I was very...
I feel bad about it. But I don't feel bad about it because of social media. People know what's going on, and I share what I want to share. And, it's to some people, I think it's considered clutter. That's how I get through the night.
Even when we lived next door to each other, I always sent you a Christmas card, and you said, I'm not going to send you one. So I understood that I wasn't going to get one back.
Did you think I was just talking about you, though? No, I didn't send anyone one. But I hope you thought I was just talking about you.
Wow, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, after all these years.
I hope none of the other neighbors say, no, you get one every year. They look great this year. It gets wider every year because you got to fit Jim's head in it. But otherwise, it's great. That's why we got a new fridge to accommodate the size of Jim's increasingly large head. My head's getting larger.
But to all the people who sent me Christmas cards this year, thank you very much. It was very nice.
Yes, and I appreciate them too. Even though I know one of our guests sent us one. I know that maybe a couple of our guests have sent us Christmas cards, and I just know. It's not that I don't. You can stop because I don't reciprocate. So I think that's how you punish someone who doesn't send their Christmas card. Save yourself the time and effort, or the expense and effort of sending me a Christmas card, because I know how you feel about me.
That makes me feel even worse.
How so?
I haven't got any Christmas cards from any of our guests on the podcast. You're right.
You got one.
I got one.
I think I only got one too.
Okay.
Most younger people send them through like Facebook and shit,
And
that's totally fine.
And I do.
I mean, it doesn't say Jim.
On Christmas Day, I do text everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Audie
Very
Andy? Do you get Kelly's brother? Does he send you? He's like the best texter we know.
I haven't got one from him, no.
I get a birthday. I get an Easter. I'm assuming he has some kind of automated texting system,
But I was walking down the airport one time.
As I was walking down the street one day. Yeah, go ahead. That's Chicago.
It was.
That might even be your song.
Beginnings was the one I brought up.
I think that's the goddamn song. Anyway, how does Beginnings start?
I have no idea.
Let me look it up. You keep talking there.
So Andy is a someone from the old neighborhood that I lived in, that Jim lives in now. But
no, Andy is a brother of someone who lives.
Right, I was getting to that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But
that was very nice
I just
of you
like to correct you.
Yeah, which you do all the time. Get your knees fixed. Get sleep apnea.
Oh, as I was walking down the street, I think it's feeling stronger every day.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, well, I'm not going to look it up.
I used to fly for the airlines, and I'm walking down, and I've only met this guy a couple of times, and he yells out my name in the middle of the airport. I mean, loud.
Andy?
Yeah.
He knows everybody, too.
He goes, Mark! And everyone's like, oh, is that your brother or something?
Everyone hits the deck. What if your name was like some verb? Like,
Fire.
Fire. Hey, what if you had a cold and your name was Bob, but his sinuses are all fucking stuffed up and it says something like bomb? Oh, no, fuck. Run.
No, but it was nice, but it was weird at the same time.
He's an interesting cat, I'll tell you that. I can tell you right now, probably doesn't love Pink Floyd.
No, because
Huge
he's
Rush
a Rush
fan.
fan. Yeah,
Huge
correct.
Rush fan. That's a guy we could have on, but we could just take the night off because he's a talker boy. Actually, we want to have Abe on. Maybe we should have Abe and Andy on the same episode. Abe, if you listen, I'm sure that'll get an email out of you at TheAscertainers@gmail.com.
I bet Andy is one of those people that is not the norm.
What are you talking about?
He might like both. Pink Floyd
I'm going to
and
go
Rush.
and get Audie, Andy, I will send you the link to this podcast. And actually, he's a guy. If we got him on as a guest and he shared the episode he was on, our listenership would go
through the roof.
Like bad or good or whatever. But anyway, yeah, we should look into that. But I think out of loyalty to my neighbor Abe, we should have him on first. Andy is Abe's brother-in-law. Brother-in-law? Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Both interesting guys in their own right. And also, Abe, I think I'm going to be honest. I talked to Abe about it. He's like, oh, I got all these stories I'm going to tell. I'm like, we're just going to talk to you. We're not going to do fucking more than one story. So he's got to pick his story.
Right.
Or come on 2 episodes. And tell every episode you can have one preloaded story. Otherwise, we're just going to talk and bust your chops.
Yeah, with you talking and Abe talking, that's...
Yeah, you could take that.
That's like 50 minutes right there.
Could be possible. Okay, other topics we talked about were outdated technology. We talked about Christmas cards. We also talked about if we ran the schools. So that's not very music oriented though. Should we do some music stuff instead? Because we talked about how Mark had a friend an associate that went to federal prison for writing checks where there was no money in the account and didn't know that was a thing.
No,
so I think that if I ran the school today, I would teach kids how banking works and how to fucking get yourself out of a locked car and useful shit, not like a lot of the stuff they're teaching nowadays. I think.
No, he wrote a check to cover his bad finances, with a check with nothing to cover it. I mean, he wrote a bad check to the creditors. that were coming
Can't
after
they just
him.
go, come on. You can't do that.
Well,
To me, that seems to be like, to go to jail for that?
it was when you get over a certain amount, it becomes a felony. So that's the problem right there.
Okay.
And which is a high bar.
Well, I would say if you're like an 8-year-old child, that would be like, oh, yeah, well, I didn't know. But so as a grown-ass adult, he didn't know that if you write a check that you are supposed to have money behind it.
At least that's what he said.
Okay. Well,
But when you're writing a check with 7 zeros, probably do you have gold? To back
7 zeros? Like
I
$1
don't
million?
I'm just kidding.
Hold on, is that how much?
That was like millions of dollars.
Carry the two. Why not just do an IOU? Like write it out on a fucking...
We're good for this.
On a Tootsie Roll wrapper. Come on.
Which is a great flick.
You remember. Which one?
Dumb and Dumber. Oh. They always put an IOU
That was
in
for a
there.
Lamborghini. You're going to want to hang on to that one. I literally sent a guy from work. I'm like, hey, this customer can meet with us these dates. You working next week? Let me know if any of them work. And he sends back, he goes, yeah, the Friday at 9 might work. Or I might take it off. So I find that Dumb and Dumber clip where she goes, it's more like $1 million to 1. And he goes, she's telling me there's a chance. And I send that clip to this guy, like, okay, so you might be able to meet at 9 on Friday? All right, cool. We're good to go. Thanks for the fucking hot tip there, Audie Dave. We have had one listener from the town that my company is headquartered in. One listen out of all the 1,300. So I think I'm safe. I don't think anyone has figured out that I have a podcast. Not that I ever disparage my work or anything. I just would rather them not know. So I don't tell people I work with I have a podcast. Is that bad?
No. Well, nobody knew me at work, but I don't think...
Well, I think we did a good job of just protecting your identity and all that stuff while you still were being on the payroll anyway.
Right. I was like Clark Kent with the glasses.
Totally like Clark Kent. In that you are a bad horseman? Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh, my God.
How many hands was that fall, would you figure there, Clark?
Oh, that was terrible.
That's what I do.
God.
It's the holidays.
Oh, my God.
Well, finally we got somebody to laugh at this fucking episode. Good for you.
And the sad part is I'm laughing at that. That is so bad.
Well, it's because you're a bad person, and I'm not. That's why I'm not laughing. God dang it, Mark. What's wrong with you?
Oh.
My mom's going to start listening to this,
Oh, Chrispher, rest in peace, and he did not mean it.
Who didn't mean it? Me or the horse? That's right, baby. That's how confident I am in my eternity. And I'm going to say that, but I'm not going to dwell on it.
Ah, that fire should be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Keep you warm. This episode probably will come out, I think. Is this going to be our New Year's episode, or are we going to...
I would say probably. Yeah, that's some back office shit there. I think that every time we record one, if we record 2 on a given week, one of them should go out the following week, and then one should go like on the shelf. And I think we only have a couple on the shelf because there was time where we had 2 that were just pure crap. And we should just shit can those.
We've had 40,
no.
maybe 47
When I say pure crap, I mean real crap. Not like this crap. I'm talking like bona fide dog shit. So I think that we maybe could have a worst of episode that could last about 24 hours. We could do like a 24 hours of Le Mans. Or 24 hours of TheAscertainers.
Or just tell people to listen to all our other episodes.
I think what we got to say is that there's a magic word.
So if it's going to come out on New Year's, or around that time.
Yep. Oh, we should have.
Are there music, or songs, or artists that are associated with the new. You know, you got the Christmas songs and Christmas music. Is there New Year's music associated with that other than?
All I can tell you is when I was in high school, I went to a New Year's Eve party. And I remember, I think that was the first time I heard Billy Thorpe, Children of the Sun. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of mainstream appeal to that. I remember one year my ball dropped at the same time that the one dropped in New York City. And then the other one just stayed up there. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with that.
Did you drop your shorts so everyone could see it come down? Or?
Didn't need to. I was wearing snow pants with nothing under them. So I think
Did it make a sound? Ding!
No, you know what I mean? So before that, it went... Because I was walking in snow pants. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And then... Oh, I can't make up. Oh, God. These snow pants are pretty thick. Hang on. I think it went like that. And that was my ball dropping. Must be midnight. I got to get home.
What's the other?
That's what I used to tell my mom. It's like, hey, I told you to be home at midnight. I go, my ball stayed up there. I can't be held responsible for that.
That's how we tell time.
It's exactly.
Other than snow pants, what other pants had a sound?
Oh, corduroys.
There you go.
Corduroys, and at my age, just right out of the shower. Can't really describe it. It's kind of I don't know what it is.
Before you put the powder
Talcum?
in between the talcum.
Gold Bond powder. But the first time I heard the Gold Bond powder ad, it was like, I think it was designed for like really old people. And Chris and I heard it. We were living in Arizona at the time, and it was like, they had this guy. It was like an old, like, Jewish guy or whatever. Because, oh, yeah, Gold Bond powder. I don't know. Could have been from New York. I don't know what his religion was.
It probably was a local. Being in Arizona, it's an older...
Well, guy retired. Well, it's Gold Bond. It's like a national brand.
Right, but I don't remember that commercial. But I lived in young areas.
You were overseas at the time. You were fighting for our country. Thanks a lot.
Not very hard, but I was giving it a shot.
It shows. But anyhow, hey, maybe if you were just, bombed a few more.
Tried a little harder.
I think we're over time. Are we over time? Or it feels like we're way over time.
Oh, we are pretty close.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Make sure you do nothing stupid, and that you're around to see the Vikings lose in the playoffs, probably, if they make it, and to hear the Ascertainers do a few more episodes before we implode, which we invariably will. Pretty soon the government's going to come after us. And...
Yeah, take the night off, listen to us, and that would be your New Year's Eve party.
I'll tell you right now, what I would do is I would if you are an insomniac or no one, make sure you share our link to get to us. Share our information, our details with them, because I think that we could put people to sleep better than Jack Kevorkian. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's that edgy kind of shit you get from the ascertainers@gmail.com.
Thank you.
The ascertainers@gmail.com.
I think with that, we'll close out this episode, and thank you for listening.
Did you give them the email address?
The Ascertainers.
It's the ascertainers@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year.
Bye now.